Іванку, Іванку, з того боку ярку, з того боку ярку. Пішла бим до тебе, пішла бим до тебе, взяла вода хладку. Пішла бим до тебе, пішла бим до тебе, взяла вода в кладку. Картошка тоненька, вода студенька, а я молоденька. Однася зломити, однася зломити, женися топити. Однася зломити, однася зломити, женися топити. На ярку взяла вода хладку, взяла вода хладку. Накрила кохання, прилети Іванку. Накрила кохання, прилети Іванку. Кохання, дівоче страждання, дівоче страждання. Не раз любовання, а скоро чекання. Не раз любовання, а скоро чекання.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming out today in support of Ukraine and its people. I really appreciate you coming out, and yeah. So my name is Elias Nikichuk. I am a senior at Champlain College. I was born here in America, but my father is from Ukraine. My parents met when my mom was studying abroad in Leningrad, which is now St. Petersburg, Russia. And they fell in love, and my dad moved here to the States, immigrated after the Soviet Union fell. So I was raised in a home where we spoke Russian a lot. My dad is from Sevastopol, Crimea, which is a peninsula at the bottom of Ukraine, which Russia had annexed in 2014. Yeah, so I grew up speaking Russian at home. My grandparents lived with us for a while, and then once I started going to school here in America, I kind of forgot a lot of the language just because I wasn't using it as much. After Russia annexed Crimea in 2014, I got more involved in my local Ukrainian community in Connecticut. My brother and sister are dancers. They do the Ukrainian dance. And I played the national instrument called the bandura. Not very good at it, but I try. So, yeah, thank you for showing up in support of Ukraine. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Слава Україні!
Слава Україні! Героям слава!
Hi everyone, thank you for coming. This means a lot to me and I'm sure many of you. I just have a quick few words. My name is Matthew Fahey. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in the country of Ukraine. I was there for 3 years. I traveled throughout the country, north, south, east, west. During my time there, I worked with teachers, students, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers. During my time, Ukraine became a part of me, and standing here today with all of you, I'm showing that to the world. I'm showing that I can't turn my back on that part of me, and I can't turn my back on Ukrainian people and the country that means so much to me. This demonstration today is a demonstration against fear. It's against war. And it's against tyranny. Today, this is a demonstration for freedom, a demonstration for peace, and a demonstration for the people of Ukraine. Thank you very much.
Glory to Ukraine!
Glory to our heroes! Hello, Burlington! So since the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia has continued to harbor...
Can we use the mic? It's just
Okay.
no one.
Hello. So since the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia has continued to harbor significant resentment against independent Ukraine, as Russia still considers Ukraine as a critical part of Mother Russia. It therefore considers the conquest of Ukraine as being vital for the restoration of its so-called Imperial Russia. Having declared independence in 1991, Ukraine has irrevocably chosen a completely different path, an independent path of democratic development, reform, and European integration. In contrast, the Kremlin has decided to go the way of conservation and groundless aspiration to restore its empire. The core values of DNA of Ukrainian society, a love for freedom, democracy, free thinking, and European values, are values that are the complete antithetical of Putin. He can neither comprehend nor tolerate these values, and so he is seeking to destroy them. Together, we say that Putin has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Putin has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Putin has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Putin has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, Putin has got to go.
Hello, everybody. I am Elena, and I am here with my husband Ian to sing Ukrainian songs here for you, for everybody who wants to support Ukraine, to give you a little bit of flavor of that beautiful cherry blossom country. Right now, I have friends, I have relatives who are in big danger, and we wake up and looking at the news, messages, and we're happy to hear any word from our friends and relatives who are still there, not safe. Their homes are brutally destroyed, and some part of Ukraine is still accepting refugees from those parts that are destroyed. The town, city where I came from is named Dnipro. Dnipro. Who is from Dnipro? Wave to everybody who is from Dnipro here. That's a beautiful, beautiful town, city, huge city like Boston. There are a lot of wounded people in hospitals who need help, refugees. A lot of Ukrainians go on to Poland, Moldova, and various countries. What I'm here for, to ask Americans to support Ukraine, because I know all Americans love freedom. Ukraine fights for freedom, and we want to support. I became American in 2004. I love this country. Vermont particularly become my home, new home, and I worry about my friends and family. So please enjoy the Ukrainian songs that we will sing for you right now. Thank you for coming and support Ukraine. Your prayers, financial support, and all of it, and spiritual support. When my friends see pictures how people in the world support Ukraine, it helps them. It helps them very much. So thank you again, and enjoy Ukrainian songs. We'll sing without microphone. Thank you. My husband has 3 comments.
Okay, well, for 20 years, I've been involved in Russian culture. It happened sort of accidentally, little by little. I became fluent. I've worked there. I never had any wrong idea about Putin and what he represents, but Russia is the most contradictory country in the world. It has some of the most beautiful things. They have wonderful classical music. They have very many beautiful people. They also have the most terrible things. Their history is the history of the wonderful and the terrible. Okay, right now what we're seeing is the terrible. The moment I had a job for 15 years, which is the best job I've ever had in my life. I've got a doctorate in molecular biology. I escaped from the lab. I got over to a place where I could make my living from home translating Russian science papers. I've done that for 15 years. It's been a great life, and I intended to continue it up until I was senile. I'm proud to say that the moment I heard that bombs were falling in the middle of Ukraine, I quit. I wasn't going to do anything that in any way is helpful to the Russian government. I want to make one other remark, which is just that when Ukraine was asked to give up its nuclear weapons, there was a big debate over whether that was wise, but in the end they did it. And I'll tell you that Russia signed agreements with Ukraine. They signed agreements with a country. Okay, they knew they were signing agreements with a country. They didn't think it was their country. It was another country. You don't sign agreements with your own country. Okay? They are now on the path where Putin has just little by little, since the time when he seized control of what had been a free media under Yeltsin, in a chaotic country that was not doing well in many ways. So unfortunately, drunken Yeltsin was persuaded to turn over to his successor a KGB agent, a KGB colonel. And within a year or two, Putin had taken control of the media. Now, why did he do that? He wanted to do that for a very strong reason. The reason being that he wanted to lie. Okay, you think that Trump was a liar? Trump was just a kind of a fool, okay, who bullshitted a lot, okay? Putin is not that kind of a fool who's just bullshitting. He is weaving a web of very deliberately constructed mythologies, okay? This can only end when the Russian people, and they are a great people, and there are many good Russians. The only way this will ever end is when the Russian people themselves stop this. And the only thing we can do is to help Ukraine until then. Okay? At some point, I believe that within a year, at some point, Putin will go. This is the beginning of his end. If it isn't, then it's the beginning of the end of any freedom for the Russian people. Not just the Ukrainian people, but the Russian people will go back to 1956. I don't believe that in the long run they're going to allow that. So that's what I have to say about that. Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
I'll sing to you a song without music about
Hold it further away.
Yeah, like-
When you hold it too close, it crackly sounds.
this is a song about girls who met beautiful man, and she gave him a lot of tears. She carried herself, and she said, who I love is my heart. I'll give all I have. And that's what she has. Пішла дівка лучками, 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 несла фартук з грушками, 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 дрібав її парубок, 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 викадіча заробок, 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 кого люблю трушечку, 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 кому дам я грушечку, 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 кого люблю сердушком, 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 кому дам я з фартушком, 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 фартушком. And this next song about mother. I have a translation. Dearest mother of mine, tell me why you are not sleeping, why you wake me to gaze at the stars up above. Did you know I was leaving? Tell me why. Was that why you were grieving? Was the cloth that you gave me a sign of your love? Did you know I was leaving? Tell me why. Was that why you were grieving? Was the cloth that you gave me goodbye as a sign of your love? On this cloth I still gaze. As my fate is unfolding, you still whisper to me through the grass and the trees. So your heart was so broken, you insisted on making this token of my motherly love, of your motherly love, so important to me. That would be in the Ukrainian language.
We can't hear without the mic.
If you hold it a cloud, is far.
How's that? Okay. Рідна мати моя, ти ночей не доспала, ти водила мене у полях край села, і в дорогу далеку ти мене на зорі проводжала, і рушник вишиваний на щастя дала, і в дорогу далеку ти мене на зорі проводжала, і рушник вишиваний на щастя, на долю дала. Хай на ньому цвіте росяниста доріжка, і веселі луги, солов'їні гаї, і твоя незрадлива материнська ласкава усмішка, і засмучені очі хороші твої, і твоя незрадлива материнська ласкава усмішка, і засмучені очі хороші, вродливі твої. Я візьму той рушник, простелю, наче долю, тихім шелесті трав, щебетані дібро, і на тім рушничкові оживе все знайоме до болю, і дитинство, і розлука, і вірна любов, і на тім рушничкові оживе все знайоме до болю, і дитинство, і розлука, твоя материнська любов. Thank you. We were thinking with my husband Ian about would be it appropriate to sing very cheerful, lively Ukrainian songs today. And our friends came here, and I want to think that I think Ukraine, to be stronger, should hear their lovely, cheerful songs from far away, from the other part of the earth, from Vermont. And I invite my friends to sing Ти ж мене підманула. Everybody who knows this song, who is from the Ukraine, please come to us. Please come. And we will try. Ian is not prepared, but it's okay. It's okay. He will do it. Our friend Lisa is here to say a couple words before we start singing.
Hello everyone. I just want to say thank you for coming here to support Ukraine. And I grew up in Russia. I have a lot of Russian friends here to support the cause. I'm half-half. My father is Ukrainian, my mom is Russian. And all my childhood, my father had friends coming in and they would sing Ukrainian songs. We're very close. There is no nations closer than us. And people like me, sometimes it's hard because we have loyalty connections to both. And I think Ukraine is doing amazing work right now, not just helping, trying to protect their own independence, sovereignty, and justice, but also setting up example for Russia for true democracy, independence. And I hope one day, like Ian said, it will come. There are a lot of people in Russia right now that we are supporting, and supporting people in Ukraine that are working very hard, and we can only pray for the peace, for rational thinking, for aggression to go away. Thank you.
Anybody who can read Ukrainian, anybody who can do it, we have the words up here to numerous songs. Okay, anybody out there? I don't have a good voice, but I'll sing these songs. You don't have to have a good voice. The words are here. You may have known them before. I hope that there's some Russian speakers or Ukrainians here who want to come and join us. We were in Boston last weekend. Sunday. And we started the play. There were 5,000 people at least there. And it's hard to play the songs. Okay, so
Сказала, вчора ти цілуєш, ради 40, я пішов, ти мене підманула, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела. Ти казала у середу, підем разом по череду, я прийшов, ти мене підманула, підвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела. Стала у четвер, підем разом на концерт, я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела. Ти казала у п'ятницю, підем на вечерицю, я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела. Казала у суботу, підем разом на роботу, я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела. Казала у неділю, підем разом на весілля, я пішов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела. Ти ж мене молодого з ума розвела.
Slight numbness in the fingertips.
Кто-нибудь хочет что-то сказать?
Oh, good.
Спроси.
Does anybody else want to say anything? You can come up to me and speak if you'd like.
I do.
My name is Jeanette, and I've been crying ever since before the invasion started, and it's hard for me to smile or laugh right now. I'm Ukrainian American, first generation. My grandparents escaped Ukraine, both of them. I heard so many stories growing up. When we played Ukrainian music for my grandmother, she would just cry, and she said I couldn't listen to it. I know it reminded her of the place she escaped. My heart is so broken. My heart is broken. It's hard to focus on work. I keep thinking it's a nightmare and we're gonna wake up and this is a bad dream. But it's not. It's not a bad dream. It's reality. The homeland of my grandparents and my great-grandparents is being destroyed. Some of you know that experience from Ukraine and other parts of the world. When I see the Ukrainian national anthem being sung on the internet, I'm so moved. And I think my grandmother would be so proud, but not like this. Why is everyone paying attention to Ukraine now? Why did it take this? I feel powerless. I feel powerless. I don't know if anyone else feels powerless. I'm not sure what to do. I call my senators, I call the White House. I pray. I connect with people in Ukraine and here. And growing up, I didn't know many Ukrainian Americans in Connecticut. I knew some. They always said, oh, that's like Russian, right? And when I was a little kid, I said, kind of. And my grandmother always said, it's not like Russian. We're not Russian, we're Ukrainian. We're Ukrainian. And now I can get it in a different way, from a safe place in the United States. I can't believe what's happening, and I can at the same time. It feels heartening to see people here gathering together and all over the world. And I find myself wanting to gather with other Ukrainians and Ukrainian Americans because right now, our experience is our experience. And I'm grateful we're all here right now. Glory be to Ukraine. Is there anyone else here from Ukraine or other countries or our community who would like to speak? You're welcome to come to the microphone. Trembling, crying, however you are, you're welcome.
My name is Representative Tanya Vyhovsky, and I too am a first-generation Ukrainian American. I've never had the pleasure of being to that country and seeing it for its glory, but I grew up looking at the pictures of my grandmother and her boys walking those streets, dreaming of the day when I too would walk those streets, now knowing that it'll never be the same. I am a state representative, and all I can do is stand symbolically with the Ukrainian people, and here today with all of you. We are working on a resolution in solidarity with the Ukrainian people and every Russian standing in protest to this unprovoked aggression in my family's homeland. And I'm so happy to be here with you today. I too have felt helpless and hopeless. And this gives me a little bit of peace knowing that you're here with me today. I didn't plan to speak.
Thank you for speaking.
And if there is anything you need, or the Ukrainian people need, that we in Vermont can stand with you and give, please don't hesitate to reach out to me with my little bit of voice in our Vermont State House. Solidarity, glory be to Ukraine.
I can play it on the... You want to say something? Or sing it?
No, definitely not singing.
Oh, you gotta switch it on. There you go.
Hello, I'm Olga. I'm definitely not a speaker, but I am. I'm from Ukraine. I live in Burlington, Vermont, with my family.
A little louder, please.
I'll try to speak up. There we go. I just want to say thank you for being here. I have family in Ukraine and mostly in the western part of Ukraine, so luckily they're okay for now. But family all over Ukraine, and it's hard to know what to do to help. But it just feels. I feel guilty just watching them suffer and watching the Ukrainian people get killed and lose their homes, lose their school, lose their life. And I ask daily, is there anything I can do? I support the Red Cross and any other organization I trust to do the work there. But, for now, they all want to stay there. They want to fight and they want to show their pride and have support all over the world. And words and thoughts and action from our governments to help out in any way that we can. So it means a lot that you all are here, and I hope that we can stay together as a community to support what's right.
So we're gonna play the national anthem of Ukraine now. Please sing along if you know the words. Sorry.
Glory to the heroes.
You know, I have something hopeful to say, since there's a lot of doubt here and unhappiness. Sometimes in the next year, Putin's career ends. Okay? And at that point, I'll go. And you will go. To Ukraine.
Слава Україні!
The world now hates Putin's Russia. The world now loves Ukraine. That's what he's achieved.
So, I'll be reading a poem by Taras Shevchenko, who's known as like the father of Ukraine. He was a poet, he was an artist, and a lot of his works are very valued in Ukraine. There's statues of him everywhere. People hang photos of him in their houses. This is called My Testament. When I die, then bury me atop a mound, amid the steppes' expanse in my beloved Ukraine, so I may see the great broad fields, the Dnipro and the cliffs, so I may hear the river roar. When it carries hostile blood from Ukraine into the Azure Sea, then forsake the fields and hills. I'll leave it all, taking wing to pray to God himself. Till then I know not God. Bury me, rise up, and break your chains, then sprinkle liberty with hostile, wicked blood, and in a great new family, a family of the free, forget not to remember me with a kind and gentle word.
Okay.
Hello everyone. My name's Tom. My wife is from Ukraine. She came over here after the Orange Revolution in 2004. Not a history buff or an activist by any measure, but what I'm seeing is, the horrors are awful. I just wanted you to know that, we all feel powerless, and it's very sad. Waking up to my wife crying. Her dad's still over there. Her friends, some of them flee to Poland. Her dad's there with her grandparents and a family member, and they're right near Zaporizhia, about 50 miles from there. So, when you see the nuclear war going on and the plant going, it's very concerning. There was one day, she talks to them every morning. They still have, God willing, they still have the phone service, so it's good to have that communication. So even though we are powerless, our thoughts are, they do mean something to the people over there, because they're very brave and they're fighting hard, but a lot of them are scared for their lives. They're saying things that, just hearing people say some things, it makes you, they're preparing for their maker, which is really sad to hear people say some things like that. So I just want you to know, we appreciate everyone coming out, and it does mean something to bond together. I wish we could do more. This is wars, there are no winners, and this is just one war of many, but it's definitely affecting us personally, and thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak?
If anybody gets up to courage or desire, and also if anybody can read Ukrainian or any Slavic language, you're welcome to come up and join us. Now here, I know you're coming up.
Come on.
Come on.
We have wonderful friends came to support us here, Naira. This is hospitality song, Ukrainian hospitality song, and it's called Zelene Zhito. That's
we had more voices. Where's Lisa? Okay.
La Хороші гості у мене, зелене є жито женці жнуть. Хороші гості мене ждуть. Зелене є жито женці жнуть. Хороші гості мене ждуть. Зелене є жито зелене, хороші гості у мене, зелене є жито за селом, хороші гості за столом, зелене є жито за селом, хороші гості за столом. Лай-лай-ла-лай, лай-лай-ла-лай, лай-ла-ла-лай, лай-лай-ла-лай, лай-лай-ла-лай. Зелене є жито зелене, хороші гості у мене, де вже хата тая всі мала, бо уся родиненька прийшла, а вже ж тая хата всі мала, уся родиненька прийшла. Лай-лай-ла-лай, лай-лай-ла-лай, лай-ла-ла-лай, лай-лай-ла-лай, lay-lay-ла-lay. Thank you.
Where did Lisa go? Lisa left?
My friend Naira, she said that she has heart that is aching.
Dear friends, thank you for being here, for support. Thank you for voting for peace. I'm representing Ukraine and Armenia, and we were in the same situation 2 years ago, and we were outside saying Armenia for peace, and I could not imagine that today I'm gonna come over here again and say Ukraine for peace. So we all are for the peace, and we vote for the peace, and that's so important because all these little kids, all these people that are not able to escape the horror of the war, the horror of the death right next door, they are counting on us. They are counting that there are people and there are forces, and those forces are the light, and those forces of light will defeat the horror, the darkness. So we are for light, we are for peace, and thank you so much.
Can you hear me? Okay. So I'll tell you something. What Putin didn't count on was the resolve and the will of the Ukrainian people, not only to resist, but to fight and to fight hard.
That's right!
Today we stand in resolve against tyranny. Today we stand for democracy, and today we stand united for peace and freedom for Ukraine. To the heroes of Ukraine, Vermont is with you. Stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine.
Stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine.
Thank you.
Maybe we should thank everyone for coming out.
Do you want to?
Okay, good. It's okay if we finish.
Did you say we were over in the falls? Is that where you were from?
Me personally, I'm from Atlanta, which is like halfway.
Yeah, I don't know that well, but we went there in 2019.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming out. I see some of you milling around, and we're gonna go for about I would say 20 more minutes, seeing if any other individuals want to step forward, offer words of peace for Ukraine, end of the conflict, any personal stories to share. Please step forward. It's an open mic. Otherwise, we're gonna have some poetry here in just a minute.
So I have a poem by Lesia Ukrainka. She was a famous poet in Ukraine. Away, dark thoughts, you autumn clouds, a golden spring is here. Shall it be thus in sorrow and in lamentation that my youthful years pass away? No, through all my tears I still shall laugh, sing songs despite my troubles, have hope despite all odds. I want to live. Away, you sorrow thoughts. On this poor indigent ground, I shall sow flowers of flowing colors. I shall sow flowers even amidst the frost, and water them with my bitter tears. And from those burning tears will melt the frozen crust, so hard and strong, perhaps the flowers will bloom, and bring about for me a joyous spring. Unto a winding, flinty mountain shall I bear my weighty stone, yet even bearing such a crushing weight will I sing a joyful song. Throughout a lasting night of darkness, nor shall I rest my own eyes, always searching for the guiding star, the bright empress of the dark night skies. I shall not allow my heart to fall asleep, through gloom and misery envelop me, though gloom and misery envelop me, despite my certain feelings that death is beating at my breast. Death will settle heavily on that breast, the snow covered by a cruel haze. But fierce shall beat my little heart, and maybe, with its ferocity, overcome death. Yes, I will laugh despite my tears. I'll sing out songs amidst my misfortunes. I'll have hope despite all odds. I will live. Away, you sorrow thoughts. Thank you. When I say Slava, you say Ukraine. Slava!
Ukraine!
Slava!
Ukraine!
When I say Slava, you say Ukraine. Slava!
Ukraine!
Slava!
Ukraine!
Slava Ukraine!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraine!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraine!
Героям слава!
We have for you Ukrainian songs, Tisha Навкруги. It's about peaceful Ukraine and love, where birds are singing, and love couple enjoy that singing. And we want Ukraine become again peaceful. And this song is for you and for our hope.
навкруги, серць розсілюві, тільки ти і я, пісня зоря, розкажи мені, любиш ти чи ні, і в очах я навік твоя, розкажи мені, любиш ти чи ні, і в очах я навік твоя. Скільки я пройшов, а тебе знайшов у своїх краях, ластівко моя, розкажи мені, любиш ти чи ні, і в очах я навік твоя, розкажи мені, любиш ти чи ні, і в очах я навік твоя. Згасла вже зоря, пісня солов'я, і ж любов сія, і твоя й моя. Розкажи мені, розкажи, любиш ти чи ні, і в очах я навік твоя. Розкажи мені, розкажи, любиш ти чи ні, і в очах я навік твоя.
Thank you. And Ukrainian people are very cheerful people. They like to joke. And I think that maybe it's good to sing for you jokey song. Чом ти не прийшов? Why didn't you come? Didn't you have a horse? Didn't you have a way to come? Or mother didn't let you come? No, I have a horse. I have mother let me go. But I will come when I will want to. So Ukrainians love their freedom and joke. So this is jokey song. Чом ти не прийшов?
It's about a sort of a strange courtship that's being thwarted by some people and helped by other people.
Чом ти не прийшов, як місяць зійшов, так тебе чекала. Чи коня не мав, чи стежки не знав, мати не пускала. Чи коня не мав, чи стежки не знав, мати не пускала. І коня я мав, і стежку я знав, і мати пускала. Найменша сестра, бодай не зросла, сідельце сховала. Найменша сестра, бодай не зросла, сідельце сховала. А старша сестра сідельце знайшла, коня оседлала. Ой, Ой, братику, до дівчиноньки, що тебе чекала. Ой, братику, до дівчиноньки, що тебе чекала. Вечеріченька, невеличенька, хочу перескочу. Вітайте мене, моя матінко, за кого я хочу. Вітайте мене, моя матінко, за кого я хочу. Дум-дум-дум-дум-дум, дум-дум-дум-дум-дум, дум-дум-дум-дум-дум. Вітайте мене, моя матінко, за кого я хочу. Вітайте мене, моя матінко, за кого я хочу. Не прийшов, щоб ти не прийшов.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Aiden. I'd just like to say this has been also very emotional for me. I am a second generation American Ukrainian. My grandparents traveled from Ukraine back in World War II, fled, and they've passed at this point, but the importance of this is just blown up in an unfortunate way. But I went to Rise Up Bakery in Barrie, Vermont. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with them, but that was one of the first places I went to support during this unfolding of events. And they have a home in Kyiv. They've got a son in Kyiv. So if anybody is interested, then you can support somebody who is local and get a taste of good European bread to help support anybody. So thanks.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
I might have said this before, but if anyone who identifies as Ukrainian American or Ukrainian wants to exchange information, to connect, to share, you can connect with me. I'll be here afterwards. I would love that because our experience is unique. Thank you.
Okay, we have one more speech. Okay, and then we're wrapping it up.
Might end with a song. So in just several days, we have witnessed the exodus of 1 million refugees from Ukraine to neighboring countries. The new total of refugees from Ukraine amounts to a little more than 2% of the entire country's total population of 44 million people. The truth of the matter is that this war was one man's choice, and one man alone, President Putin. It was his choice to force hundreds of thousands of people to stuff their lives into backpacks and flee the country. Those were President Putin's choices. Now it's time to make ours. The United States and our European allies are choosing to stand with the Ukrainian people. When I say Slava, you say Ukraini. Slava!
Ukraine!
Slava!
Ukraine!
When I say Slava, you say Ukraini. Slava!
Ukraine!
Slava!
Ukraine!
Slava Ukraini!
Ukraine!
Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Thank you. We'll finish with one more song from Yelena in the end.
I could do Lice Storki Klaski Tuskli. Well, don't know. I could do it, I don't have to do it.
This is today. That's what happened in Ukraine. Just one friend of ours made this and gave it to me as a gift. I will take it to Montpelier.
I'm stubborn. I'm going to play a song that's a Russian song.
Honey.
But it's a Russian protest song. It's a
Russian people now protesting as well, but they also go to jail for protest for 15 years. That's very, very hard. I have relatives and friends in Russia and Ukraine. It's very hard on all people. We don't need to raise hell and hate. We need to raise friendship and peace. That's what I think. And energy, praise, it will go, doesn't have any borders. My dearest Ian, he is going to sing for you very himself.
Okay, so this song is called Marionetki, and it was written 20, 30 years ago. I know there's some Russian-speaking people here who know the song. Okay, it's a song about puppet. In other words, about the people who are forced to pretend to be people and speak, but really they're just puppets. So our friend Putin is intending to install some puppets in Kiev and pretend to be Ukrainians. Okay, so I think that this is actually a very valid song right now. It's a song about these puppets. It's a sarcastic. Now, of course, the Russians couldn't get away with saying anything that was too clear, okay, even at the time, 20, 30 years ago. So this is a song in sort of a hidden meaning, but the meaning is pretty obvious. Okay, so when I say Sioni Marionetki, that means they're all puppets. Okay, so here's a song for the puppets that Putin will soon create, and then who just as soon will leave, and Ukraine will be rebuilt in a very Western way. And if anybody knows this, лица стерты, краски тусклые, то ли люди, то ли куклы, как похоже на взгляды красавцы. Я устал и отдыхая, балагон вас приглашаю, где куклы так похожи на людей. Я устал и отдыхая, балагон вас приглашаю, где куклы так похожи на людей. Манекены и пираты, циркачи и акробаты, и злодейчей вид внушает страх. Волк и заяц, тигры в клетке, все они марионетки, ловки и накруженные. Волк и заяц, тигры в клетке, все они марионетки, ловких и нагруженных руках. Кукол дергают за нитки, на лице у них улыбки, играет клоун на трубе. И в процессе представления создается впечатление, что куклы пляшут сами по себе. И в процессе представления создается впечатление, что куклы пляшут сами по себе. А до чего вторая видно, что хозяина не видно, вверх и темноту вниз. Куклы так ему послушны, что мы верим простодушно в то, что кукла может говорить. Куклы так ему послушны, что мы верим простодушно в то, что кукла может говорить. Вот хозяин гаснет свечи, кончен бал и кончен вечер, засияет месяц облака. Кукла ему
нитки длинной и засыпав нафталином, в виде тряпок сложат сундука. Кука снимут с нитки длинной и засыпав нафталином, в виде тряпок сложат сундука. И со стертой краски тусклой, то ли люди, то ли куклы, взгляд похож на взгляд, а тень на тень. Я устал и отдыхаю, балаган вас приглашаю, где куклы так похожи на людей. Я устал и отдыхаю, балаган вас приглашаю, где куклы так похожи на людей.
Thank you. And we are here for peace. And peace will be. Every war has end. Please hope and help. Help Ukraine. And we will do everything that will Ukraine blossom again for Ukrainians. Thank you so much.
I believe it's going to blossom like it never did before.
Yes.
Thank you for organizing